Yeah, I'm signed up. If people are watching and don't know, I'm doing the Super Stock and Super Bike at Northwest, and looking forward to it. I've had my actual original entry into the Northwest was 2013, but that event was abandoned because of weather. So I didn't technically do any proper racing, but I did do the newcomers lap and some practices, and it was always in wet conditions as well. So I didn't feel like I actually did my debut properly. So then the following year in 14, I come back and was able to set the lap record in the Superbike race. And I was leading it, but just made the smallest error at Mathers Cross chicane, and went onto the grass and sort of you had to tip. I was carrying like a bit of speed, but it didn't feel fast compared with some of the areas of the circuit. So sort of had to gently get off the grass and back onto the track. And you can't in any kind of top level racing, you can't afford to give that much time away. So Michael Dunlop took over the lead and won the race. So I got second, but I managed to get the lap record and lead for some time before I made that error. So I've had a really good for what felt like my debut year, it was a really good entry. And then for a number of different reasons, I never went back for years and years. Never did the Northwest. Not because I didn't want to, but it was a number of things. It just didn't. Paths didn't align, And I tried on a couple of occasions to get some things sorted out, but I always felt like the Northwest was a side project. I needed to do BSB, and I've done, in different years, done Suzuka 8 Hour and the Isle of Man TT, and even, the Manx and stuff like that with the Classic. And there's lots of other things in the year. So it's sort of like, I haven't felt like I needed to really push to get an entry. And the other thing is with the roads, I don't really want to be in a situation where I'm kind of pushing people. It needs to be natural. I feel like I want the mechanics to be there, I want the team to be there, I want the sponsors to be there, and then I'll be there together. We'll all go together, rather than people feel like they've got their arm turned to make them go. So, but last year was even more surprising because I would have been pleased to ride the Northwest and the TT last year, and Michael Dunlop was entered to do those two events, but I was sort of like, no, your job's to focus on BSB, so which I was comfortable with that arrangement. But and then at the 11th hour, Michael decided, in Michael fashion, to do other things. So the team were kind of left sort of, they'd committed to going to the Northwest. They had, accommodation, travel, sponsors, a load of things kind of already in place, and no rider. So they were like, well, Josh has done the Northwest. He's made it clear he wants to do it again, but hasn't done it for a number of years. So it sort of just worked. I fit the place, and got asked if I would do the Northwest, and I ended up on the podium. And it may have been purely because of the likes of Hickey with his mechanical failure sort of thing, and other riders as well. But either way, I was in the race and I got on the podium, and I didn't feel like it was my best showing. I didn't feel similar to last year's BSB. The same problems that were in BSB were in fact highlighted at the Northwest. I went into it thinking, oh, well, you're not really banking the bike over on the edge of the tyre like you do at BSB. You're not screwing the throttle on and braking with loads of trail brake on the edge of the tyre. You're not doing all those sorts of short circuit racing aggressive sort of riding styles. So I thought at the Northwest the bike will probably be far more competitive. But one of the issues I had last year was grip related. So because it's a road surface, it's a public road, and it only highlighted the fact that the area I was complaining about in BSB was magnified at the Northwest. So I actually was like a bit annoyed. I was like, oh, well, the bit that I thought where it would be good, it was actually not that good. So anyway, I'm sort of going on a bit too much, but yeah, we had a good showing, but it wasn't my idea of the best that I could do in it. I didn't have confidence. It's a track and an event where you've got to kind of ride on confidence, not just on. And I feel like I was riding on knowledge and experience, not confidence. I was sort of like riding in. I know the bike can go around the corner this speed, and I know how to do it because of years and years of training myself to understand it. It wasn't like, oh, this is how the bike feels like it should be going around a corner. So yeah, I wasn't actually that pleased with the results, even though it was a podium. But yeah, so that brings us up to this year. So it'll be my third year at the Northwest, and I think the bike and the team and everything are far more on paper ready for the challenge. So hopefully we can be more competitive and bring that challenge to Glenn and give him a bit more of a bit more competition.
One either side, I reckon. That's
yeah.
It's just like, I got that side.
Pull his stickers off.
I was thinking. See, I was thinking more positively. He won't even be in front for us to need to pass him.
Good point. Yeah, 1-2 in whichever way round it goes for FHO racing. That's up to you two. Which
Once
way
we get to Metropole, we'll sort it out.